this is Lauren, and my family's more messed up than yours. You're listening to the Stretched Out Podcast.
Beautiful. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Stretched Out Podcast. Oh, God. And then I'm peeking.
Challenge accepted, Lauren.
Yeah, been in quarantine for a little bit too long.
It's only been like a week.
Yeah, and it really doesn't. I mean, it hasn't really impacted me that much, anyway. It's like I'm very fortunate. Ah, goodness.
That was funny.
Yeah, that was terrible. Welcome back to the Stretch It Out Podcast. Sorry, I couldn't keep it straight. I don't know what happened either. I just think because I did the little practice run before we did it, that's what made me laugh. I think the fact that I was doing it again, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is just funny to me.
I was doing trying, when you're laughing and you're just trying to keep it silent, but I just feel like this mic picks up everything. So I'm pretty sure people heard me breathing,
Oh, so awesome. I love it though. I love just the wins that are found behind the epic fails, right? And right now, we are totally, that was awesome.
We were winging that one, but I liked it. I really like that idea. So everybody send it, download voice memo.
Yeah, no, that was, let's start the episode out with giving kudos where kudos are due.
Yeah.
And that was Lauren Meeks. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Lauren and the whole fam. Actually, Giacomo did one too. So we'll use him on an upcoming episode. If we don't get anybody else between now and the next episode, which, spoiler alert, could be sooner than next week. If we don't get one between now and the next episode, then we'll have to get one from somebody. So hopefully you can get someone, make a phone call or something and just record it on the phone call,
I'm reaching out to everybody who I know is listening to the podcast all across the country.
And here's what's great about it. You can say whatever you want at the beginning. Just make sure you finish with, and you're listening to the Stretch It Out Podcast. That's all we care about is the end. So you can, promote your business. You can promote your Instagram. You can just don't, keep it PG-13 at least.
Yes.
PG better, but you know what I mean? So, but yeah, we need more intros. We do need more intros. Yes.
We're going to get some in. I have a feeling a lot of people are going to want to be on that. I want to be on that.
Yeah. Too bad. So sad. So we will never be as cool as our listeners. So let's try to stick with only getting the cool people on. What are we talking about today, Audrey?
I mean, with everything that's going on, we feel like it's best that we talk about social distancing, but still staying connected.
Social distancing while staying connected.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
I will say, just looking at the name of that, I have never stayed more connected than I have when we weren't in quarantine or anything, or doing social distancing. I'm not going to lie, I'm a little exhausted from FaceTiming all my friends and talking on the phone. I love it, but it's like you get off the phone with one and literally 2 minutes later, I got another call from someone else.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great. I
got a schedule. No, I'm kidding.
Well, I'm just saying, if there was a popularity meter, I don't know that it's even on the charts anymore.
No.
For you. Right? That's what it sounds like.
But I think you get to see your friends. My friends are practically they're all over the country, so.
Oh, there it goes. There's that popularity. Yeah, I think it's done. I think it's fried. So we're not even going to replace it. We're just going to go ahead and just say, yeah, it's done.
Listen, I only got two friends here in Vegas, okay?
And
one of them's a dog.
No, I think that's great, though. I don't have that. I'm working still, which is awesome. I'm so glad that I am. And my heart goes out to those that are not, right? Especially as a result of this. So, yeah, and I know that you're in that boat. I'm not. I totally get it. And, but my point in sharing that I'm still working is maybe that's why no one's calling me, is because they know I'm working. Right.
Yeah.
So I keep telling myself that, like, man, there's a lot of people that are, in quarantine, or that are, staying at home, or, not doing anything. Let's go with that. And I'm sure they all want to talk to me. And then no one's called me or texted. So I figured it's probably because they know I'm working.
Yeah, that's exactly.
So it makes sense to me now. You know what I mean? Like, I got down for a minute and then I was like, oh yeah, duh, makes sense. Right. And then it was immediately corrective perspective. Like,
that makes more sense.
Yeah.
So sorry if you guys can hear some noise in the background over here. Like, everybody here in this house is quarantined, so we're trying to create projects every day. And my best friend's mother, Maria, her project is the closet, which is directly behind my bedroom, so I can hear her
cleaning.
Yeah.
Well, can you hear all the doors and stuff slamming in my house from my kids and
all the action? Not yet.
Well, I can hear it, and I can hear the dogs barking in the back. They're not doing it right now at this moment, but you'll hear it.
I just heard her like move something else, and I go, oh, let me go ahead and notify you guys what that noise is. I like it though. We're staying active, okay? We're keeping ourselves busy in this house.
Yeah. Well, I think that's important. And it's funny because I saw a post on it on Instagram, I think it was, and it just said, it showed a picture of everybody staying in their house on their devices. And then below that picture, it had a picture of everybody outside, like running, walking. And it said, before COVID-19, right? For all of us inside, after COVID-19. Now everyone wants to be outside,
Yeah.
So it showed the picture of us inside, and then and I thought that was kind of funny. But I think we should just have a, for the sake of like doing our part for the listeners, just a reminder to make sure that we're washing our hands and doing all that we can to slow the spread, right? I think for me, like, I didn't, and we talked about this on the last episode, but I didn't take it as serious at the beginning, and
yeah,
I admitted, like, I was out like doing stuff, and
same.
Yeah, and I'm not saying like now, like, oh my God, I feel terrible, because I was just going based off of what I knew and and understood at the time. So I'll beat myself up over it, and I say that because if you're in that same boat, I don't want you to beat yourself up over it either. It is what it is, right? I think the fact that we've come to grips with kind of what we're dealing with now, I think it's just safe to just remind everybody, hey, don't forget to wash your hands, and
I don't think
stay home. And
I think it was more so of like, because this is such a new virus and it was such a new thing, a lot of us are, I mean, I know I was, we're just uneducated on it. But now, as we learned everything we can about the virus,
yeah,
that's all.
I'm still super uneducated. Just in general. I'm not even talking about
for yourself
regarding coronavirus. I'm just saying I'm pretty uneducated. No, I'm just trying to be funny. But I wanted to ask, I'm going to start it off with asking you.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. Hope you're ready. Hope you read up before we started this episode. I'm just kidding. I want to know what you've been doing with, your alone time and your time with others, right? So, like, it's interesting to me, and I want to hear from you because you're in a different situation, right? Than I'm in.
Yeah.
And what are you doing with to carve out me time, right? So, like, what's Audrey doing? Like, give us let us take a peek behind the curtains there and tell us what's going on. Are you getting alone time, me time, or is that something that you're like, man, I wish I could get it, but I can't? And then what are you doing to socialize while being in the house with all the folks that are where you're at?
Well, I think you have to remember to, like, I'm not in a very congested city, so we're still encouraged to go out and like do hiking and do outdoor activities. It's just you have to keep your distance from, like the person that you're with. But no, I mean, actually, I think I've been more busy now than before because, like I said, Maria and myself, we try and choose one project a day, whether it's like something to clean in the house or the yard or something. It's just to keep our own sanity. And then My new favorite is Disney Plus. I'm loving that.
Disney Plus, huh?
Oh God, I love it. I finally caved in and bought it. So, but no, like I was spending time with my boyfriend and his his roommate's girlfriend. She works out a lot, and so we ended up kind of all of us working out in their garage or in their front yard when it wasn't raining, and my body is completely sore. I think we worked out for 3 days straight. The third day I finally walked away like mid workout. My legs and my arms, everything was just giving out. That's how hard we worked out. But today, my friend Pablo, which he is very fortunate. I kept telling him that I was very jealous that he's still working right now. And my friend Pablo, he's kind of my adventure buddy. He's always down to do anything where I'm like, hey, you want to go do this crazy hike? And he's like, yeah, of course, let's go, So I'm happy he's still working, but I'm bittersweet because he is still working and I don't have my
you're
adventure
jelly?
buddy. Yep. Bitter party of one. His job is stealing my friend right now. But yeah, he called me. He hit me up yesterday morning and said, hey, do you want to go ride on the strip? Because the strip in some areas is completely boarded up. They can't lock the doors on some of them, so they just took plywood and boarded them up, and it's completely empty.
Wow.
And that was something I kept wanting to do, but I was saying drive, and he goes, I got a bike. I got a new bike, let's go ride it. So we did that this morning.
How was that? Did you record it?
Yeah, I recorded some, and it's not as like deserted as you think it would be, because there were still a lot of cars using Las Vegas Boulevard driving. And what I did enjoy seeing was that even though the casinos are all closed up, the casinos are still like renovating, building. They're fixing up the roads right now. Like they're really utilizing this time.
That's smart.
Of the shutdown, of like putting new piping in for like, water and sewer and stuff like that. They're putting that into the road. So they really got a jump start on that, which was, I think, is smart, because that's why, like, you think of like you're going into the strip and it's going to be completely deserted, but there's all these construction workers everywhere.
That's crazy.
And the only thing is, like, we kind of got yelled at. We didn't get yelled at, but you're not supposed to like go up to the valet sections like on the road, but we did that at Bellagio and Paris and Aria. So we just wanted to, go up and check it out. And Bellagio, they were like, hey, you guys got to get out of here. But
wow.
But that was about it. It was fun, but yeah, I recorded it, and we weren't the only ones. There was a lot of people active where they were running. We met other people biking, but we all kept our distance from one another. We were just being smart about it. So
that seems kind of cool, though, to see that. I mean, I know it's difficult times, but I've been kind of finding, I don't know, just for lack of a better way of putting it, just finding beauty in a lot of this, and especially in a lot of the photos and videos that people are taking and sharing. It's just so cool. And in my mind, I've tried to look at it through the eyes of like a young person in the future, looking back on this time that we're in. Does that make sense? Like, look at all the stuff that we look back on that's historical events, and I think this is absolutely one that really brings us all together in like a weird way, like puts us all kind of in the same place, and it's just taking pictures and video. That's why I said, did you record it? Because capturing all that stuff, I think one could sit back and just say, well, I don't got to record or take pictures because social media is going to capture all that, the world's going to capture it, which I totally get. But I think that it's not going to be in the future when we look back. I don't think we're going to be so much focused on having stuff to connect us with history, but for people like us to have stuff that connects us with our history, I think is going to be cool. Right. And so like our grandkids are going to have only so much. And I think it's going to start with like us, where we're at, documenting it. And,
well, it's like the same thing, right? You learn about, like Pearl Harbor or something like that, right? But then when you talk to your grandparents, and like to have a grandparent say like, oh yeah, say what their what their story was behind it. Where were they when it happened? You know, then it's like,
Yes.
now it made it even more. It made a
Yes.
bigger impression because you're like, oh wow, this impacted my grandpa. This is impacting me now. So it's the same thing, you know.
Yeah, it's so cool. Yeah,
I'll
exact
post
same
those.
thing.
I'll post those videos up. I think on one of them I say like, yeah, we just got yelled at Bellagio.
Can you put it up on the
Yeah.
the Stretch It Out podcast?
Yeah.
Do you have access to do that now?
No, not really. And it still like does it like a post for me, but
Oh, okay.
we'll
Well,
work
just
on
post it and I'll like put it on the
Yeah.
Facebook page.
And if anybody else, send us your experiences. You know, if you're in quarantine, like lockdown, don't go outside of your house, but you can still show stuff from your windows or something.
Well, yeah, you can still take video from
Yeah.
inside. Like, send us questions or like topics or just like what you're doing. And I'm not saying that because I want it's all going to land in the podcast bucket, right? I'm saying it because we want to go through this with you and be a part of this with you. So share those things with us, share your experience with us, share your thoughts, your concerns, your wins and your losses. We just want to be there with you and for you. So please, when we tell you to send us stuff, we mean it sincerely, right?
Yeah.
Just DM us, DM Audrey, DM me.
And I think what I love most is like everybody's in this together, but everybody's story is still different because, you know, I have friends who live in New York who are stuck in a small apartment versus, you know, you live in Texas, you have a neighborhood that you can walk out to, but in, you know, in New York, like they can't even walk in the hallways, you know? They're same, but like two totally different stories. That's what I love, hearing everybody else's story.
Yeah, it's important that we hear other people's stories, especially if you're like me and you've been kind of connected to the news, the media. You know, I have that problem with everything. I just over obsess about everything, and I'm trying not to with the news, you know? So it's good to have that departure.
Well, you know,
from
we
the
have
constant flowing news.
Our cousin Kara, she's on the cruise ship over in, I believe she's in Barbados.
No way.
Yeah.
Kara.
So she comes back in April. Her and I've been, you know, we're messaging back and forth, but there's no passengers on her cruise line. So she's just on the cruise ship, and the crew and everybody, I think they're just like hanging out on the ship.
Well, I hope they're making the best of it, you know? So to the crew there.
I think she is, yeah.
Maybe, well, we need to tell her to listen to this podcast and share this episode with the crew. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to the crew out there, working with our cousin Kara, and shout out to you, Kara.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'll have to hit her up because sometimes we text and sometimes we don't. So I don't know if it's like a Wi-Fi thing, because I know ships are kind of weird with that. But yeah, I'll have to figure that out with her so I can get
crazy.
this episode.
Everybody's in a weird, like a totally different place right now. It's crazy. Like there's so much different things going on, and then yet we're all in the same place. It's mind-boggling to me.
It's like I don't honestly, and I hope we don't have to do this ever again, but I feel like this is literally like a once in a lifetime.
Yeah. And,
you know,
and I that's why I put that note in our Google Doc that says that I think we can find comfort in the fact that we're truly all in this together.
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, I'm finding a lot of comfort in that just naturally happening. It's not like I'm forcing it. Like I just naturally am finding comfort in that. And I think, are you feeling the same way? Or
I am. Like at first, I'll be honest with you, when I started seeing like other cities like shutting down first, and you know, like San Francisco, all that, I was like, oh well, they're really congested, and Vegas, we're not congested. So I think I was focusing more so like, because in Vegas, I believe, or Nevada, we've and I hate to say only, but in comparison to other people, we've had only 2 deaths from the virus.
Right.
But now, because I've seen like videos of like people who are in the hospitals, you know, and seeing that like they're on ventilators and things like that, and I'm like, oh wow, yeah, don't risk it. But at first, I didn't think it was going to impact us this much, to the point where casinos were going to be shutting down, because that's our livelihood here.
Yeah,
like we don't have like other factories or something. Like, we solely rely on the tourism, and people wanted to come here because, I mean, flights and everything were so cheap. People wanted to come here, and I know that was a hard decision for the casinos to say, sorry, like, we're going to turn everybody away. We got to close.
Yeah, everybody. Yeah, it's a tough place for everybody.
So seeing it hit that way versus like how many people who have the virus, you know, but I appreciate what they did, because they did that to really get ahead of the virus, you know. So it's like everybody hit in a different way. We're not like Italy, where, you know, there's a lot of people who are passing in Italy, you know. So
yeah, no, I think I'm in the same boat. I was kind of distancing myself from it, or like you were, your state. At first, like, oh, like, you know, watching it on the news and seeing what's going on in China, and then kind of just in my mind going, well, it's, you know, probably not going to come over here. It's probably not going to be a big deal. And I think, you know, as it's grown into what it's grown into, you know, I've had to kind of face the facts, right? Kind of come to grips with that. But I still just, the simple fact that we all are in it together, and I can no longer, and you can no longer completely separate yourself from it.
Yep.
Like, everybody's impacted by it in some way. I think that fact is, the circumstances are crappy, but that fact that we're all going through it together in some fashion, I think there's beauty in that. Freaking weird and twisted, maybe. But yeah, there is. Like, we're all going through that. Like, think about, I was just watching TV and the advertisements that are coming out, right? Like, these big companies are like, you know, they're obviously, it's smart marketing, right? And I assume they probably move this quick all the time, but to me, I'm just like, wow, it's like so relevant, all the advertisements. And the advertisements right now, if you're talking about kind of what we're talking about on the Stretch It Out podcast, right? Which we've, you know, we're happy to talk about. And I think just bringing people together and being kind to one another and doing what everybody's asking you to do in terms of, you know, staying home and all that stuff. We're all paying attention to that, where in the past, you know what I mean? It's kind of hard for you to be relevant, but I think right now that's one thread that any company can kind of, you know, use to weave in whatever commercial or advertisement they want. And they know they're going to hit home with people, because that thread is, everybody's dealing with it. So,
because it's impacted everybody.
Absolutely. And it's just crazy that we're going to look back. People are going to look back hundreds of years from now and probably be like, wow, that was kind of crazy, you know, and pictures, video, all the way we document things today with social media and stuff. There's going to be a lot of information. I think we're going to learn a lot from this.
And I hope, like, the one thing, and I'll bet you're probably going to agree with this, but I hope the one thing that everybody, like, really takes away from this is seeing all the support. It's like the same thing when 9/11 happened, right? Like, everybody put their problems to the side to help somebody, you know? Because I'm seeing all sorts of things where, like, Cuba, they flew in, like, tons of doctors into Italy, I believe. And I don't think, me personally, I think as a society, we need to give, like, first responders and the nurses who are, like, literally putting themselves in harm's way to help these people who do, you know, who are contagious. And it kills me to see when, you know, some people who were still out and socializing and just going to big groups and things like that, and you get to see on the other side of, like, nurses and doctors who were trying to put an end to all of this. But like I said, we were uneducated in the beginning, so I'm hoping those same people were just uneducated and weren't just doing it out of defiance. But but I hope the one thing that, like, anybody takes away from this is seeing, like, how many people, and when I say people, I'm talking about first responders, nurses, doctors, who are putting themselves, leaving their families to go help, you know, Italy, who is in a major crisis right now.
Yeah. A lot of people sacrificing a lot right now.
Yeah.
You know, a lot. Like, talk about corrective perspective. some of us being like, man, I'm getting cabin fever.
Yeah. Like I have
Think
to
about
yeah.
the people that would love to be at home right now with their loved ones that can't be.
Like that's 100% because I had to reset my mind.
100%.
100.
Sorry.
I had to, and I think I say that too much. I had
No, I
to
like it.
reset my mindset because I think it was yesterday, or the day before, and like we're just sitting here watching TV, and I was like rolling around, like doing just like literally bouncing off the walls, like just rolling around the floor and stuff. And I kept saying like, God, I'm so bored. I'm so bored. I just want to get out. I want to do something. I want to socialize. And I think that was pretty selfish of me to say that because then I started to think about, the nurses and stuff because you could fact check me on this, but I'm pretty sure they can't go home.
Right.
Because if they're over there dealing with people with the virus, they can't go home and risk being one, infected and spreading it at home, or two, going home and, being with their loved ones and maybe their loved ones got it. And now they're going back to work, There's a nurse listening. Let me know how that is because I feel like they don't even get to go home.
I know. Yeah, I'd love to hear from a nurse. Yeah. Again, corrective perspective, and
I always got to reset that for me.
Yeah, we all need it every day. I was thinking about that today, about how you never really, I think you want it to be that way, and some of us think that it's going to be that way, but you never really just check the box. You never really break the tape, so to speak, in the things that really matter in life, right? And think about you working out and going to the gym. You look at somebody like The Rock, right? Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Beast.
He didn't check the box. You know what I mean? And like, hey, he's made it and like he's successful and he's worth $1 trillion. He's nowhere close to checking the box. That guy, it's day in and day out hard work, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same thing with our mental strengths, like you just said. Hey, I need to check that. We have to do it all the time, every day. It's a muscle that we have to work out every day. And if we don't, we lose those muscles. We lose those gains, so to speak, just like you do physically. There's no difference. And I think that's why content like this, like what we're creating here on the Stretch It Out podcast, and that so many others are creating all over the world on, online and, through podcasts as well, but just so much content out there that falls into the self-improvement, self-help categories, self-development, all of that. The reason that there's such a big market is because that's how you work on those mental strengths, right? Work out your mental muscles, if you will. And you have to check it all the time. And that's why I like doing what we do here on the podcast. I know this is episode 9, by the way. I didn't say that. I know we're only 9 episodes in, but I was just talking to Chris and Matthew about it. And, I've talked to Chris about it multiple times, just how I want to do more, right? I really enjoy this and I want to offer more of that content. I want to, by other means, right? That's why I think I would love to start up something on YouTube and hopefully try to somehow figure out how to get to the youth, and I've talked to you about that, like TikTok and all that stuff, like trying to figure out ways to really get that out there, this kind of content. There's never going to be too much of it, in my opinion, because all of us every day should be grinding and working our mental strengths, our mental muscles, just like we are our physical muscles every day.
Yeah.
And when we don't, like I said, we lose those gains. So huge tangent off what you said, but that really just kind of obviously struck a chord with me. So I'm glad you brought it up.
And I think that's like, even us like doing this podcast, selfish part of me is coming out. It helps me. That's what I love to do.
Yeah, it does help me too. It does help me too. I enjoy just being here in Podcastland with you all. And I enjoy the fact that the people that are listening, you're listening because you enjoy it too, right? Which is huge for you, because that means you're looking for different perspectives too. You're kind of seeking that out. Otherwise, a lot of people aren't going to listen to podcasts, especially talking about what we talk about, unless you're really kind of seeking that, which is cool.
Which, like, the first 10
awesome.
minutes, the first 10 minutes of the podcast is always like, oh, okay, so we had some issues with this.
Well, we can't even say always yet, because we're only 9 episodes in, so we can say like it's happened 3 times. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
think about when we're like, episode 1,000, right? Like, I don't know if that ever even happens, but it'd be cool if it does. I'm enjoying it now. So,
Yeah.
So I've been spending a lot of time with the family, right?
Mm-hmm.
This weekend, really, spent a lot of time with the fam. We got to celebrate my beautiful wife's birthday on Friday with all of our closest friends here in Katy, Texas. So
that's awesome. It was a quarantine birthday.
Yes, we had some quarantinis, I guess they call them, but I just want to say thank you again to all of our friends here. We just love you guys, the MFB crew. Just thanks for making that day so special, because
what does
I really didn't
MFB?
do anything, and they made it a great experience for her. MFB is Marble Falls Bend. That's the name of our street that we all like. Like, we don't all live on it anymore, but that's the street that brought us all together. So we've just always gone with MFB, and we could always change it to like whatever we want it to mean, because it's MFB.
Call you guys remind me of like the Sandlot. All the boys, you guys remind me of like the Sandlot crew.
The Sandlot crew, yeah, we're kind of like them, just all like
just way older,
older, but not any more mature, right? We're just older.
Maturity level stayed the same. The age is the only thing that changed.
Yeah, exactly.
It's funny.
Exactly. So yeah, spend a lot more time with the fam. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the time with the family. I know it's been rough, I think, for Courtney doing the school thing. I'm saying it's been rough because that makes it sound bad, but I know it's been hard, like harder than if she was just chilling with the kids, trying to make sure that they're taken care of while I'm working. Mm-hmm. That's hard to do. I've got a lot of conference calls, so it's like, hey,
well, it's like now
try to keep the kids down, and she's like, oh my gosh, okay, like no pressure,
Well, it's like now she's playing mom, babysitter, and teacher.
Yeah, right? Which,
well, aren't there?
She does all the time. She's usually doing mom, babysitter, teacher, dad. Especially if I'm traveling. Even more so if I'm home, though. I'm just kidding. I do a little bit here and there, but
all the kids are. I mean, I don't have kids, so I don't know this. Alyssa would. Oh God, I wish she was here. She could chime in. But the kids are doing like all their school activities like via internet, right?
Yeah, which is cool. Which, like I mentioned earlier, kind of trying to document some of that. I recorded her. I recorded Emma, logging in with her class and saying hi and stuff. I thought that was. And I shared it with you guys. I texted it to the family group text. So, that's why I'm documenting. I think it's cool. Like, I don't think it's cool what we're going through, like I said, but I think what's cool about what we're going through is how we're going through it, and the different things that we're doing
especially for like
human beings,
the kids, because right now it's like they're so young that they're just kind of like they're just taking it day by day. I don't think they're
it's all they know.
Yeah, they're not seeing the global picture. So then, because their mind isn't quite there yet, but once they get older, then they're going to be able to say like, oh yeah, I remember, like I was doing school at home. I had to do,
Right. And we're all going through the same thing. It's just different angles. We're all seeing it through different, there's different optics lenses, there, right? Yeah. But we're all going through the same thing. It's just, you're right though. It's super crazy. And we're all doing not weird, but different things, I think too, as a result of it. Because we're all, for me, I'm thinking about everybody else too. I'm thinking about the fact that everybody else is going through this with me in some way. So I'm thinking like, wow, how can I be kind, or how can I do something, for the people that are like me, sitting around maybe doing nothing. And we were hanging out the other night with the Nabes. We were all at Matthew's house and we were playing ping pong, and we got the idea to do a Facebook Live, right?
I did not even see this. I know. I'm so
I didn't even have. I don't have very many friends on Facebook, but
I don't know how to do it.
Yeah, and I didn't either, but they figured it out right on my phone, and we did a Facebook Live, and there was only like 2 people I think that watched it out of however many friends I have. So yeah, in one way, I guess you would say that that's an epic fail, right? But really, I think if you throw some corrective perspective at it, it was actually pretty cool, right? Like I said, we had maybe 3 or 4 people that accidentally clicked on it and got a glimpse of us trying to play ping pong, but we were commentating too. Like we were making it like a real sport. Like we were, we were giving it the old college try, and I enjoyed it. And the part that was cool about it for me was that it was a good time for us because of the potential that other people might be watching and could connect with us. And I think that we enjoyed that, just having that possibility kind of added like this different dynamic to dynamic of fun and even hope to our group. Like, hey, wouldn't that be cool if some people checked this out and they were like, hey, like this is cool, like this is better than what I was watching, maybe on YouTube, or this is different because I'm connecting with people, someone that I know, right? I'm kind of seeing what they're doing. And granted, it's not always going to be super entertaining, and a lot of us probably have a lot of other things to do, but it was just cool that us as a group were willing to say, yeah, let's connect with our friends that on Facebook, like you know what I mean? I don't know what you call that, your Facebook friends, right? Let's see what share something with the Facebook fam. And it was just cool that we did it, and I enjoyed that. So I thought it was awesome. I hope we do more of it, to be honest. I hope we like, hey, let's do a Facebook Live and who knows, do some karaoke, right? Like the people on my street, my friends that I have here are, in my opinion, some of the dopest, coolest, craziest, most amazing people on the planet. And I would love for, my friends to get to see that and witness some of that on Facebook. I'd love to be able to share the joy that I get from hanging around these people and being around these people. I'd love to be able to share that with people through mediums like Facebook, and Instagram. And so it was just cool experience. Again, something probably wouldn't have happened, right? Like, I don't know that we would have ever in the past, in the future said, hey, let's do a Facebook Live and try to connect with all of our friends. I think there would have been a big fat why in front of that. Like, well, why are we doing that? Right. Yeah. And here we didn't even,
no reasoning.
Like, we didn't even stop at the sign. It was just, like no big deal. Everybody was in. So I thought that was cool.
That's neat. You should do that every weekend.
Try to do another one, do a Facebook Live.
Yeah. While in quarantine.
Yeah. Like I said, really though, like nobody watched it, but it was still fun. Like it was fun, commentating and kind of trying to make a sport out of something. Like,
and
we still had a really good time.
It saves your video, right? Or no?
It does, but I didn't do that with mine. Like, I didn't realize that what I was pressing deleted it. Otherwise, it would have been it would have. You would be able to go look at it. Yeah.
Just go back and reenact it.
Yeah, failure on my part, but it's all good. It's all good. So I'm just looking at our notes here. Actually, let me check the time. Okay, we're at 38 minutes. We're doing pretty good, humming right along. Thanks for sticking with us. But real quick, got to plug in a little shout out to one of our sponsors. This episode is once again brought to you by my beautiful wife, Courtney, because she's taking care of the kids. She's literally doing it all. So shout out to you, Courtney, my beautiful wife. You are my world, my star, my everything. And this episode honestly would not be happening without you. So thank you so much.
No episode would ever be happening without her.
Yeah, this whole thing. Yeah, like I wouldn't be able to do anything without her support. She is by far my biggest supporter. So she does a lot of heavy lifting for me to be able to do some of the things that I truly love. So thank you, baby. I love you so much. All right, now we got that out of the way. We'll move on to the next one. I was asking you about earlier, I think a little bit about the me time, and looking for those small windows of time that you might be able to get to yourself. For me here, I still need to hunt that stuff down too. Like, I have to be able to have me time, and this is kind of that me time, right? So I'm saying that, because that's how much y'all mean to me, that I share my me time with you.
His me time is your time.
Yeah, my me time is we time, which I think is awesome. And honestly, I just love visiting Podcastland with you all. Can I just say that I just love being here with you all right now? I love just knowing that you're listening. I love that you're here with us, and we're in Podcastland together. I think it's magical place. Really, music is like the ultimate, where you can travel to with music. But podcast is cool. Podcastland is pretty freaking cool, right? It's like right there with Music Land. But
I feel like
anyway,
we're a close second to, we're a close second to that same feeling of like when you're walking into Disneyland first thing in the morning.
Oh gosh.
Walking down downtown Disney.
Did you see one of my episode ideas?
Oh no, I didn't see it.
That's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about some of our time at Disneyland. So,
my gosh.
Spoiler alert! We got in one of our upcoming episodes. Title's going to be Grim Grinning Ghosts Come Out to Socialize, and we're going to talk about our times at Disney. So, I think since we're bringing it up now,
let's go ahead and go into the next episode.
Oh, I know, right? We're just going to roll right into that episode. And I don't even have that listed for the next episode, but I guess since I mentioned it, we probably should make it the next episode. But yeah, we're going to talk about all the fun times that we had as a family at Disneyland. And we've got a lot of different Disney stories. And so I think that this will be one of many. Okay. So I don't want you to think like, oh, they're just going to do one, because I think a lot of people are going to like it, but we're going to name. You'll know when it's going to be an episode that we're talking about some of our time at Disney, because it's going to have a Disney related title. So this one is going to be Grim Grinning Ghosts Come Out to Socialize, because we are social distancing. So I thought that would be fitting. And then we'll do a different one down the road, and you'll know because it'll have a Disney reference. So
we'll explain that name on that next episode for people who don't know Disney that much.
Spoiler alert. Yeah.
Ooh,
if you don't know Disney,
excited.
don't trip. But I thought that would be fun to do. Something that we would enjoy talking about, and we can get some really cool stories from the fam, right? So Dad, Alyssa, our cousins, Andy, all the listeners. I've got friends that are listening now that weren't listening in the past. And you know what? Actually, that made me think of something. Mark Ramos, shout out to you. He just started listening, I think today, but I saw him he liked our first episode. He listened to episode 1 today, so I don't know how far he got, but he listened to episode 1, liked it on SoundCloud, and I thought, man, that's super cool. Like, it's awesome when someone like him, he's just a great person, great human being. I don't get to talk to him a lot, but we were much closer when I lived back in Cali. But he's actually Mike McDougall's brother-in-law.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it was cool to see that he's listening. I just thought, man, that's freaking awesome. So shout out to you, Mark, man. Hope you enjoy it. Hope you get to this episode, because I got a shout out for you in it. So anyway,
I'm sure he'll text you when he does listen to this one.
But anyways, I think that'll be cool, right? So send us whatever you've got, and it doesn't have to be Disney related. We're just saying, just send us anything and everything. We just want to connect with you. We want to be there with you, especially right now through these times. But so Audrey, you've been connecting with friends. You said a lot of friends via FaceTime.
Yes. I got Andy on my list, and I feel so bad because I wanted to FaceTime her one night, but we ended up watching some movies here, and we all drank wine, and I fell asleep. We were watching like old 80s movies.
I love it. So Andy's been like super anxious about not anxious, but like super excited to get on, right?
And I want to give her a shout out because now that everyone's at home and quarantine, social distancing, everything. On Instagram, everybody's like, remember those chain emails you used to get when we had like AOL? And it was gosh,
where like they would trick you into sending it, because like if you didn't send it, then you would die in 7 days.
Yeah, exactly. So now
I remember.
Like the new thing now on Instagram and Facebook, like social media, is now like it's challenges, and a lot of them are like, I've seen like some people have tagged me in one where it's like, if you see someone take a shot of alcohol, you have to take one and then you share it. So it's like see one, take one. And then there's like see 10, do 10. So it's like if you see someone do 10 push-ups, you challenge.
I saw your push-up thing. Yeah, you accidentally put me in there, but that's okay. Yeah. I wasn't going to say anything.
I low-key was like, I don't even know how, like, who to put in this because I don't know who's gonna do it or not. But I tagged Andy in it because she's always talking about, like, you know, she wants to get fit, she wants to work out and everything. So I tagged her in it. And keep in mind, it's 30 push-ups, guys. I can't do 30 push-ups in a row. So I did a time-lapse video because I can only do them in sets of 10 before my arms just give out. So that's why my video was fast. But I tagged Andy in it, and she didn't do the push-ups, but she did go out and she did work out. And she sent me like
awesome.
A screenshot. She goes, I didn't do the challenge. She goes, but I did work out, and it's a pretty hard workout. And I was like, okay, that's all that matters to me. I was like, keep yourself busy.
That's awesome. And kudos to you, Andy. Thanks for...
I love that. I love seeing it.
Yeah. Thanks for, and thanks, Andy, for all your support. You're so encouraging. And your excitement, I feed off of that. Like, very similar to like a rock star, right? Like Ozzy Osbourne, I'm sure feeds a lot off of his fans. And don't ask me why I thought of Ozzy.
With being...
Chris has no competition because Chris is still in the you owe me phase because we've not sent him. We keep telling him, like, you keep setting it up, you know, and you keep,
now,
like, the spotlight you put on it, you know, you keep replacing the bulb and making it brighter and brighter, right?
I'm gonna send him like a like a puzzle piece.
Here we go. Hold on. I need a sound effect to give to you for, like, okay, that's her digging again, Chris. Yep. She's digging again. That's her digging. I'm going to get that sound effect.
You just
that is going to be your sound effect. Is going to be someone digging.
I'm like looking. I'm envisioning it in my head like a sitcom. You know, like a kid, like a Disney sitcom, where, like, instead of sending the full card, they send him in, like, send it in like puzzle pieces. So you have to.
Oh gosh.
Like 4 different
Poor Chris.
mails, and then he's got to tape it together. I'm just thinking like a Disney Channel thing.
And then he's got to tape all his gift cards together, or are you going to put all of his gift cards in like one quadrant so he gets at least gets all those at the same time? Because that's pretty messed up.
I wouldn't do that with the gift card. Then it just comes in Venmo, one at a time.
No, you're just going to do Venmo now, so it's she's totally getting rid of all the other promises.
Hey Chris,
look,
you tell me in this time of quarantine, what gift card do you want? Do you still want the Starbucks one, or do you want something else?
Look at her trying to put it back on you, Chris. Here's what Chris and I are going to do. Okay, because Chris and I are going to have some extra time, and Chris, I'm only pulling you in because I think you would enjoy it. But I'll try to do most of the heavy lifting. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back through just our, because we've only done, this is only episode 9. And we only do about an hour to hour and a half, right, on average. So I'm going to go back through and I'm going to find all the promises, okay, from Audrey. I'm going to find all the, hey, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to send you this. And we're just going to make a little, what do you call that when you put them all together? A little mashup there of all of these. What?
Like a chart? What are you talking about?
No, I'm going to go grab all the audio of you making a broken promise. Right? And we're going to play it back. And we're going to listen to the words breaking as you're saying them. So that's the promise literally breaking as the words are coming out of her mouth.
You know what I'm going to do?
We'll put that together. And then we'll have some digging music every time she starts. That's what I'm going to do. Because I do pay for this service, right? Where I can have a live dashboard where I can actually like make sounds and stuff. So I'm going to find that digging sound, and that's going to be included probably as early as tomorrow, right? Because we plan on trying to do an episode tomorrow as well, and we'll talk more about that here in a minute. But I'm going to have that. I'm going to get that digging sound.
I'm going to go ahead and
actually, I should use, in the spirit of Disney, because especially if we're talking about that, I should use the hi ho song, right? We dig. So that's going to be your song. So Audrey has, you officially have like a song now, and it's because you continue to dig yourself deeper into this hole with Chris Phillips. So thanks to Chris just being a kind human being and just being patient. He's getting all of this is happening because you have yet to deliver on your promise.
I'm going to use the word that Dad always used. It'll eventually get there. Okay. Doesn't mean it's broken. It will eventually get there.
No, I feel you. All right. So, okay, Chris, I'm sorry, man. I tried again. I tried again. It's a swing and a miss. I don't know if you heard it, but that was a huge miss right there. That went right over her head. She's like, cool, we're moving on now. Not even a priority. So
I'm gonna take a video
I'm
of
sorry.
it when I send it, and I want him.
Another
Chris,
promise.
I want Chris to record when he receives it because I want to see the look on his face.
Yeah, so here's what'll happen. Chris will record. Chris will do his part, and then we'll be like, "Oh, let's put it together with Audrey's." And then Audrey, what are you gonna say? Oh, I didn't record it, right? And then what else? You finish it from there.
No, I'll record that. I'll even get the FedEx person in there.
Oh wow, just gets bigger and bigger. The stage gets bigger and bigger. The lights get better and better and brighter and brighter. It's just going to be a huge production, Chris. I'm looking forward to it. Super excited about it, actually. Okay, sorry. It's still fun to pick on my little sister, even
it's like a 10-minute
section
every time, guys.
So I have here as our last note, this could be a good time to connect or attempt to reconnect with someone that maybe you've wanted to reach out to and you haven't in a while. We wanted to put that out there. Just if there's someone out there that you haven't chatted with in a while, and I think now's a really good time to reach out to that person. And I say that because probably most of us are thinking they'll reach out to us. And I think that way a lot. Like I always think, well, I don't want to bother them. They'll reach out to me. But I think that if someone pops into your head, sorry about my dogs. If someone pops into your head, I think that's happening for a reason, usually. Especially if they're just popping into your head and it's completely, they're not popping into your head selfishly, right? Like, oh yeah, that guy owes me money. Like, oh yeah, Nick said that's happening for a reason. I better call that son of a bee, right? That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that if someone pops into your head, there's probably a reason for that. And you should probably give them a call or shoot them a text or send them a message. Something that I've been doing just with some of my free time, on my lunch break or in the evenings or early in the morning before I start work, is I'm trying to just figure out how to be kind and spread kindness and encourage people. And in these times, I think everybody needs it. And honestly, I think it matters a lot who it comes from, but I think sometimes it doesn't matter so much who it comes from. I think that's why we appreciate when someone likes something on Facebook or on Instagram, right?
Okay.
Like you can't sit here and tell me that you don't like it when you open up your phone and you're like, oh, I got a few likes, right?
Yeah.
You enjoy that feeling.
Yeah.
And you enjoy that attention, and you enjoy, if nothing else, the fact that tells you that somebody else was thinking about you. That's what that does, right? Like, I thought enough about you to move my thumb about 1.5 inches and press down.
And press it twice.
But I'm saying that, Audrey, because doing something, if I know that simple act of kindness does bring somebody joy,
mm-hmm.
then I'm going to do it. And I'm going to do it. I'm going to take it a step further. And what I've been trying to do is I'll go through, read different comments from people I'll look at a post from like an influencer or somebody that I follow. And maybe they've got something really cool that they posted that's inspirational or whatever. And if I go on Facebook and I go, hey, what are you guys doing? I'm going to get nothing, right? Because I don't have a lot of friends on Facebook for one. And I'm just not that interesting. A lot of people are going to be like, oh yeah, let me tell Nick what I'm doing. But I say that because these people that I follow, if they say that, they're going to get like hundreds of thousands of people saying stuff. And I thought, that's pretty cool. So I dive into this sea of comments from all these people, and I just look for ones that I think are cool, or even somebody else being kind to somebody else, like giving somebody else kudos for doing what they're doing. Or maybe it's somebody stepping up and empathizing with somebody that's opening up and sharing, like maybe that they're in a bad place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to find things like that, and just, yes, I'm going to go through and try to like a bunch of comments, but also try to find ones that I can leave a comment on, or something just like, hey, fist pump or whatever, emoji, or like, fire, like keep up the great work. You're doing a good job. I know they don't know me.
Yeah.
Right. But I do know that for me, it's coming from the right place, and if it's real and it's genuine, then who freaking cares? And I'm not naive enough to think that they can't go take that and go somehow land back on the Stretch It Out podcast and then eventually get to know me. Right. And then they would look back and go, okay, like that makes sense. I want that to be, real for me. I want that to be a part of me. And so I've been enjoying that, going on social media and just finding things to like and go a step further and just commenting on people. Like, I don't know these people at all, but all of us can use encouragement, and not just because of where we're at today with COVID-19 and, the pandemic. Like we could, if we did that all the time,
I think what makes it so much easier right now with everybody coming together is because we're all experiencing the same story, right? But if it wasn't COVID-19, then it becomes difficult because sometimes people don't understand what somebody else is going through in that moment. Because
when you do,
become self-absorbed, right? So it's like all you care is about what you're going through that day, but you're not thinking about somebody else. And then that's when, corrective perspective comes into play. And you have to stop for a second and be like, okay, well, this is how my day is. Like, okay, my day, I spilled coffee, I, scratched my car, I'm having a cruddy day, but you don't know what like, the other person is.
My fish died.
Yeah, fish. Why a fish? Right?
Well,
like I spilled my coffee on me one day in the morning, and it's like, oh man, my whole day's ruined. But it's like you don't know what the other person's going through, whether it's like, hey, they were just diagnosed with a horrible disease or something, and I'm over here worried about my shirt.
Yeah. And it's sad that we have to go to those extremes sometimes to be reminded of those extremes, I should say, that exist. But it's true. We all have to do that. It goes back to the point I made earlier that we've got to constantly be working out those mental muscles. We've got to keep our optics clear of things that can be, messing with our vision, the clarity that we need, right, to see things clearly with the right perspective. And we need it all the time, every day, and I love doing that. Like, I love helping people with that. Right. Yeah. I love being someone that can go out there and just tap you on the shoulder and just, virtually give you a high five via Instagram, an Instagram like, or a Facebook emoji, that stuff goes a long way for people. And honestly, goes a long way for me. Like, I enjoy doing it. Like, I love exerting that energy, genuinely, like, it's so authentic, right? I enjoy it, and I want to do more of it. I want to do more of that. I want to grow that. Like, that's what I want to do, and that's why I'm telling you, get to Texas, get to Katy, because I want you to be a part of that. You know what I mean? Like, that's, I don't know, it's, I guess, I don't want to say like it's like my destiny, but you know what I mean? It's important. Like, I want to do that. Like, this is what I enjoy. This is what I want to do. And I want to go like, I want to go all in on that. In every aspect, the smallest acts of kindness, like I said, just liking somebody's comment, or a response to somebody else, because I think what they're doing is good, and sharing that with them, and being unashamed enough of who I am to do that. And not worry so much about what they're going to think. And, but hopefully that's all making sense. And I'm not just
tangent. No, I'm kidding. No, it makes total sense.
Okay.
You love making people smile. You love making people feel special about themselves. And
I do. And I especially love doing it because I know,
and
how down people can really get about
I think
themselves.
Some people, they're like, I think of it as a kid, I think it takes some guts to be nice, to spread that kindness, right? Because it's so easier to be, I guess, mean.
Yes.
Right? So it's like, you look at it like when we were children, elementary school or something like that, it was like the bully. It was so much easier for the bully to be mean versus the person who stood up to the bully and helped, the kid that was being bullied. It takes more guts in that way
Big time.
But it just has such a bigger impact.
It does.
You know?
It does. And that's what's happening every day with all of us. Every day with little tiny things, even the conversations we have with ourselves. Some of us are bullying ourselves every single day. Right?
Yeah.
Like really putting ourselves down with that self-deprecating talk. I know because I still struggle with it, but I've really beaten myself down into the ground with my poor self-talk, bullying myself. But you're right, people are the people that are really making a difference in the world are the people that are doing those acts of kindness. Those, like to your point, those are the ones that really do have the biggest impact.
Yeah.
And because that's why we're all seeking that stuff out now.
Mm-hmm. Like I wish I would have learned that at a younger age.
Everyone wishes that, right? Don't we all wish that we had learned
go back and do high
what
school
we know sooner?
Go back and do Back to the Future.
Yes.
Well, I know we're kind of, we're at an hour and a minute, but we had 2 people respond to what we asked for last week of like acts of kindness.
Yes, so, the wins, the acts of kindness. Please share.
Okay, so I'm going to read Andy's, because she sent this one to me in a text message, and she says, let's see how good I can read, guys. So she says, so I'm listening to you guys, and I want to hear this win. She goes, I have one. She goes, right now, financially, like everyone else, I'm in a tight spot and needed groceries, most of which I found I couldn't get at the store because the shelves are completely cleared out. I was talking to a coworker, and she put a care package together for us filled with eggs, loaves of bread, lunch meat, mac and cheese, and all the things that she can use in the meantime. She's also a person who has children who are dealing with some non-life-threatening health conditions, and they have plenty of medical bills to pay. I literally cried because I was so thankful that she would give up some things that she had so we could have some essentials.
Wow.
Talk about a win.
That's a huge win. And who was that? Who are we? We don't know. It's just somebody that Andy knows.
Yep, a coworker, I believe.
Well, hey, kudos to Andy's coworker, Andy's friend. Well done to you. That's what I'm talking about. That's huge.
That's a very big win. Like, that's talking about coming together.
That is huge. And Andy, thank you so much for being just honest enough to share that with us.
Yeah.
That's a huge win. That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
To share. So thank you. I mean that from the bottom of my heart, Andy. Appreciate it.
I love seeing those.
You had another one?
My other one, it wasn't a text message, but I don't think she even realizes she's doing this, so I'm nominating her. She didn't write in, but I'm nominating her for this. So it is my very good friend, Jenna. She lives in New York, and she is
I've met Jenna, right?
No, you've spoke to her and seen her on FaceTime. She was the one I was trying to get out to Texas.
Oh, I never met her in person.
Yeah.
Okay. But I met her on FaceTime. What's up, Jenna?
Yeah. Like, anybody who meets Jenna instantly loves Jenna, and if you don't, then there's something wrong with you. Just kidding. Okay, so Jenna lives in New York. Okay. Jenna, I hope you don't mind me saying this, but she's a personal trainer, Equinox, and unfortunately, because all the gyms are closed, they're all, just kind of hanging out until things get back to normal, right? But Jenna is she's not somebody where it's like, okay, we're closed down, I'm not going to do anything. She loves her clients, and she believes in what their true goal is, is getting healthy and getting fit and stuff. And so she is on, she has her Instagram, it's called Gains, with G. And so every day she's been doing like workout routines that you can be doing in your house, so that her clients and anybody else who follows her on Instagram, they can do these workouts. And when
Genius.
I talk about, there is no excuse, because I have stayed at her apartment, and that thing is so small. It is definitely a New York apartment. And she's doing these workouts with laundry detergent, jugs, books, towels, like pretty much anything that's in a normal apartment.
I love it.
Yeah, she's doing these classes. It's pretty much like a class. And keep in mind, to get her, it's like $120 a session. And she's doing this on her Instagram for anybody who's willing to, to stay in shape during this whole quarantine thing, especially in New York, because they're not supposed to be going outside. So,
are we going to give her a plug? Are you just going to tell everybody a story and then just not point anybody to her Insta?
I know, right? Well, that's where I'm going to try and get her to do our intro tomorrow, maybe our next episode. So
I like it.
Her workout one that you guys want to follow is called Gains with G. So it's GAINZ, like zebra, with G, and just the letter G.
Gains with G?
Yep. Because her name is spelled GENNA. So it's a great photo of her. She actually did that photo of her in the desert, and it's just a girl with brunette hair, and she's jumping up in the air.
That's so cool.
Dancing lessons. She's a great dancer. She actually went to school for dancing in New York, I believe. So, yeah, she's been helping me. She sends me things where I'll text her and say, "Oh my God, my back's killing me." She'll send me videos like, "You got to do this." She's all about keeping everybody healthy, keeping everybody fit, and having the correct mindset. So,
love it. Kudos to you, Jenna.
So everybody needs to go check her out.
To you.
I love her.
Yes. Get her to do an intro for us. Get any plug you want on the intros, folks. So if you'd like to, even if you want to record it on your own and just send it to us, right? Just send it on your phone, just record it and email it to Audrey or whatever.
Yeah. I'm reaching out to her as soon as we're done with here. So
yeah, email or something, and just, you can say whatever you want, just as long as you finish with, and you're listening to the Stretch It Out podcast, and it'll play. You'll hear it eventually.
Well,
shout out to the family too. Like, shout out to the fam, right? You know who I wanted to shout out to, Audrey, that it hadn't crossed my mind. Like, it had crossed my mind, I didn't write it down, that I wanted to shout out to. It's one of our cousins. They recently had a baby. Do you know who I'm talking about? Oh yeah, putting you on the spot. Who's not been on social media enough to even know?
We've had a cousin that recently had Brooke? No, she had her baby a while ago.
Yep, we had one that just recently had one. It was Heidi.
Oh,
our cousin Heidi. Yes. So shout out to Heidi.
Goodness.
And I know they don't listen, but you never know. They might stumble across it, right? So shout out to you guys.
Oh, that's so true. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm on my Instagram now looking her up. Like,
yeah, Heidi and Dave, I think is his name.
I don't think I've ever actually met Dave. Looks like
I have. Awesome, dude. Great, dude. Oh my gosh, Heidi hit a home run with that one for sure. Yeah, great guy. So you guys are gonna be great parents. So kudos to you. Congrats. Any other shout outs while we're on
it? Shout out to first responders for being on the front lines of all of this,
getting it done. All the nurses, all the medical workers, everybody's still out there working, and we appreciate you all.
Even today, when we were riding up the strip, we saw cops, and they were, detaining, unfortunately, people who were, maybe on some sort of a substance and stuff. And you look at that, and they were like over there coughing around the cops, and then they got to stay safe.
Yeah.
While still trying to detain someone. So
and trying to contain the spread, really slow it down as much as possible. You can't really contain it, but yep.
Really, you got to put them in your cop car and then take them, to wherever it is they got to go, and that's scary enough for there. But I mean, shout out to first responders who are still battling the everyday effects of society, I guess.
Big time.
In the COVID-19, and huge shout out to, I know this is all like COVID-19, but huge shout out to the National Guard too for coming in with stepping up. So
sorry, I didn't mean to bring it in on you too soon. I was just kind of messing with the volume. But no.
Shut up,
No, I didn't. Yeah. No, but I honestly shout out to all you all for doing what you do. Thanks to all of our listeners too. Thanks to the friends and fam. I was talking over you. What'd you say, Audrey?
Oh, I said shout out to all the good people in the world.
Yes. Oh, I'm excited about next episode. Are we gonna go Grim Grinning Ghosts come out to socialize? Is that what you want to go to?
Oh, we gotta see. We gotta keep the audience on their toes. Oh, I'm excited though.
All right. Well, hey, look, we're gonna wrap this one up. Shout out to everybody again. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks for joining us here in Podcastland. Audrey, thank you. Love you, sis.
Nick, thank you. Thank you, Courtney, as always.
Powered by Courtney. All right, y'all. Love you guys. We'll see y'all next time. Peace.